is having an amazing day today. I have gotten some requests for a whispering, rambling video, and I really did not even know what I would talk about for a while. So I figured we could do a Storytime ASMR where I can tell you some crazy stories. I feel like I've had my fair share of crazy life experiences. So today I figured we'll just focus on one of them. So today's story is about my not so college experience. It was interesting to say the least. So while I'm telling the story, I have some random little triggers that I'm gonna just tap on and play with throughout, so it's not just fully whispering. So our story, I'm trying to figure out where to even begin. So I had this friend from way back in high school. Her name was Kylie. So me and Kylie, we had been through it in high school together. All that. She was doing community college and I wasn't doing college at all. So we were just, I don't know, we were just vibing. So I had made friends with someone that was going to this college nearby. So I had made plans to meet up with them on the college campus and just see how it's like, all that kind of stuff. So me and Kylie went together to this college. So Kylie is an avid Tinder user. So she had matched with this guy on Tinder. We'll call him George. And Kylie was not really interested in George, but she was interested in conversation with him, I guess. So he also went to that college. So while we were there, she decided to meet up with him. And she was definitely under the influence during all that. And so at first he did not like me. Like, he knew of me, but he did not agree with, we'll just say, like, my lifestyle choices. And, like, the dude didn't even meet me yet. So I really didn't understand, like, why he had such an issue with me to start with. So she went and hung out with him, and I stayed with my other friend that I knew from there. And so the next morning, me and Kylie were gonna go back home to where we lived. And so when I picked her up, I got to meet George. And George had a girlfriend, which was really strange as well. So we'll call her Ashley. So I met George and Ashley, and they honestly seemed pretty cool to me. Like, me and George talked, and I was just like, hey, like, I don't know why you have a problem with me. Like, I think you're cool. Like, I'm glad that you and Kylie are friends. Blah blah blah. So I actually had become quite acquainted with George and Ashley. And George, me, and Kylie were all in a group chat together, and we just talked about, like, stupid things. But slowly, George was kind of pushing Kylie out of the group. So then that put me in, like, a weird place of, like, switching from, like, that high school me to that not so college me. So I started kind of just going with it, which I know, looking back, was not so great on my end towards Kylie, and I know it hurt her feelings a lot. We'll get to the resolution of that later on. So I started going to college parties with George and Ashley, and we had a really good like party group. It was a smaller party group, but like it made it better because we all like knew who each other were and stuff, and we had a good time. So I became really, really close friends with like a lot of people within that party group. So then my college and relationship connections were just beyond George and Ashley. So there, me and Ashley started to get like really close. Not in like a weird way, but like in a bestie type of way. And I started to see like weird little red flags within their relationship, and I'm not the type to like meddle within people's relationships, but me and her were getting close. She was confiding in me, so I kind of chose Team Ashley. And so she ended up, after all, I'm not gonna say like the specifics of the red flags, but like he wanted her to wear like specific things that she was not comfortable in, and some of them were like articles of clothing of his exes, which was beyond me. And he would just make like rude comments and remarks about her out in public and in front of everybody, and I just thought that was not cool at all. And their like political views were completely different, so it was just weird all around. But they continued to date, whatever. This was near like the end of the year, so it was the holidays. So I actually started staying somewhat in the dorms, and I didn't even like go to college. I was staying with these two girls that I had become really close friends with through the partying group. And one of them I was with really more close with, we'll call her Sydney. And so I had started working at the Dunkin' Donuts in that college town. I was the assistant manager, and Sydney worked there as well with me. So it was a really fun time. Everything, I was still friends with George and Ashley, and we went to Ashley's family's house because we had gone there a few times, but we were mainly there because of Thanksgiving and all the holiday stuff. And her family like loved me. Her dad took me deer hunting for the first time, which, if you knew me, that's not typically me. And her mom, well, yeah, her stepmom, like co-signed for an apartment for me, and like they just really helped me out, and they thought I was a good friend for Ashley, and they didn't really like George, but they loved Ashley and supported her decisions. So I was there the one night. They had like some little argument, George and Ashley, and so George had left, and I stayed at Ashley's parents' house with her, and it basically came to it that like she didn't want to be with him anymore, and I did not influence her in any way, shape, or form. I kind of just listened, heard what her parents had to say, blah blah blah. Like obviously I gave my input on what I was asked, but like I didn't want to like do that to George necessarily, even though I didn't really care for George. So she breaks up with him the next day, and meanwhile me and Ashley are dog sitting at her parents' neighbor's house, and so we were there doing the dog stuff. I went to work at Dunkin', and I like didn't check my phone much, and so Sydney had come into work and was like, yo, did you see like the party group chat? Like, and I was like, yeah, no, like I've been on my phone. I haven't been on my phone all day, like we've been slammed. And she's like, yeah, like I honestly would recommend you go look at it. And I'm like, oh my god, like what now? So I look at it, and there had to have been at least, I don't even know, like 4 or 5 different paragraphs that were texted to our group chat. Like, and this group chat was like everybody in the party group. There had to have been at least like not everybody was in it, but like the main party people were in there, and that it was probably like a good 15, 20 people. And I was friends with the majority of them at this point, and so they were with George as well. So George posted in the group chat like that him and Ashley had broken up and that it was all my fault and that I talked her into it, and her family used to love him until I came around, and like that I was jealous of their relationship and I couldn't handle like not having Ashley's attention, and that I had to meddle in their relationship, all this other stuff. And I'm like in my head, I was like baffled that he had put this in front of everybody to see. Like, so I basically texted back and was like, hey man, like, first of all, I don't know why you're putting this on here for 15 to 20 people to see. Like, they are not involved in this in any way, shape, or form. And so I had texted the group chat and just said, like, I had nothing to do with this. Like, you basically dug your own grave with that one. Like, you can talk to her about the issues she had. Like, I did not have really any say in her breaking up with you, anything like that. And I didn't really want to put Ashley's business in the group chat either, because she didn't have Snapchat, which was where this group chat was. So I didn't feel it was right to like put her business out there and what he was doing with her and crap. So I then, it just got escalated and everything, and I basically was just like, hey man, like, I'm out of this situation. I'm one of those people that I don't like drama. Like, I was not about to sit up here and just be ridiculed in front of all these people for something I didn't even do. And I, of course, showed Ashley, like, all those messages, and she texted him, like, leave Steven out of, oh, God. Well, you know my name now, Steven. They were like, leave Steven out of this. He has nothing to do with this. Like, he was there to support me, and blah, 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 blah. And I had told George that if the roles were reversed, like, I would have done the same thing for him. Like, if he was asking me, like, advice on their relationship or something, I would tell it. And so they broke up. It kind of faded away eventually, but I then had a talk with like I individually like texted the people of the party group and was like, hey, I'm sorry that you guys got involved in all that. Like, I'm telling you, like, I actually did not do anything. I don't know what he's talking about. Like, I don't even know. Like, Ashley came to that conclusion on her own. And they were like, yeah, we believe you. Like, it's all good. Like, we're friends still, blah, blah, blah. And in the group chat, like, he was being terrible. Like, George was saying, like, and then, like, let's reel it back a little bit. George was trying to then, like, like, George had already basically alienated Kylie, my high school friend. But Kylie would still come to, like, some of the parties and, like, still was involved in a little bit. So, in this whole group chat thing, and Kylie was not in it, he texted that, oh, Kylie told me this about, like, Steven so long ago, and, like, I should have believed her, like, trying to pin me and Kylie against each other then. And, like, I just didn't, I don't know, I just, like, completely left the group chat. Meanwhile, Sydney was still in the group chat, and so after I left it, they were still, like, going on and on about, like, oh, he left the group chat, that must mean he's guilty, like, blah, 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 like, just terrible things about me. He was calling me, like, a lying, manipulating snake, like, all this stuff. I'm just like, what the heck? So, I kind of just stuck to, like, I'd still go to parties and whatnot, but I kind of just stuck to, like, me, Sydney, and Ashley, like, we're friends. And right while this was all happening, me, Sydney, and George were actually getting a townhouse together. And so, like, immediately we had to get George out of that situation. We were like, oh no, we are not living with him after all of that. And me and Sydney were already like, yeah, we're moving into this townhouse. And it was a 5-bedroom townhouse, mind you. So we moved in the beginning of December of Sydney at first, and then they basically said that, like, since the other 3 rooms were not occupied by people that, like, we knew, they were gonna, like, assign us random roommates, which wasn't super ideal, but, like, it is what it is. So our first roommate that we got was a exchange student from Iran. He was amazing though. Like, we love him. He was so funny. He was really, really good at what he did. He was so smart. Like, he was just hilarious as a person. So he wasn't too bad. We also had this guy. He was pretty quiet. Like, just whatever, laid back. And then it took a while for them to fill the 5th room. And in the meanwhile of all this, like, George had gotten a new girlfriend, moved on. We were still partying, all that. Me and Sydney were living in this townhouse. So, and Ashley was coming over to our townhouse literally like every single day. And so in February, we had this new roommate move in. We'll call him Kyle. Kyle was probably the worst roommate I've ever had. At first he was super nice and everything, but then he pretty quickly, like, took control of the whole house. He, like, controlled everybody in it, and none of us really had a backbone exactly, so it was hard to, like, go against that with him. And so, like, I'm trying to think. For example, like, I cut hair on the sides and on the side and stuff, so I had cut the Iranian guy's hair for him, and we didn't have a dustpan at the time, and the Iranian guy told me he would pick up the hair and everything. So I had went on to work on and to do my thing for the day, and I came home to a text, first of all, from the new roommate, Kyle, saying that I left him as blah, 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 and he walked, and 4 of our rooms were upstairs, and Kyle's room was downstairs, so, like, he had no reason to be upstairs at all. So he came upstairs and was, like, taking pictures of our hallway and stuff, like, oh, this is so messy, blah, 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 and he left the pile of hair right in front of my door. And that, like, irked me in some type of way. Like, why are you being nosy? And, like, I wasn't even meant to pick that hair up. Like, sorry, dude. And so he ended up actually chasing the quiet guy out of the house. Like, made him move out. Because he didn't like that he didn't, like, contribute to the house. He was in the military, mind you. He was, like, he just worked for the military. Like, he would go for, like, one weekend a month and just be there. And so he ended up, like, he just wanted to, like, make our lives a living hell, I guess. Every turn was something wrong. Like, he ended up starting to date Ashley. Him and Ashley started dating, and he, like, completely ruined me and Sydney's relationship with Ashley. Like, turned her on us, like, so then she would still be at our townhouse every day, but, like, with him, not with me and Sydney. And it was just really awkward, and, like, the tension was there, and, like, granted, Ashley was doing her best to try to, like, stay between the 2 friendships, and, like, me and Sydney honestly just weren't having it anymore, because we had gotten Ashley through that whole thing with George, and she just kind of, like, up and ditched us for this Kyle guy, who we really hated. Like, Sydney had this glass table, and, like, it was in her family for a long time, whatnot. He had poured Elmer's glue all over it to make her mad, and then she, like, got all mad at him, and he, like, refused to clean it up, blah, 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 blah. One time we were having a party, and, like, Kyle never drank, but that night, I guess he was, like, super mad or whatever, and so he started drinking, like, a bunch, and we were like, yo, like, he's starting to act crazy, all that. We told Ashley, like, yo, can you please deal with Kyle? Like, bag of like glass bottles and everything off the balcony, shattered them like right by all of our cars, everything. It was just like crazy. So after that, it was just super awkward, super weird. Like this poor Iranian guy that lived with us probably was just like, what is wrong with these American people? Like, and I get it. So I actually had started seeing someone at that time, and so I was not home much. Like I tried to stay away as much as possible. And I actually had went on a family vacation, and while I was gone, I was having Ashley watch my animals and like just watch my bedroom and stuff because I didn't trust Kyle, which I probably shouldn't have trusted Ashley looking back at it. Turns out, like, that they slept together in my bed while I was gone. He lived in the same house as me. They could have went down to his bedroom, but this man didn't have a mattress. Man was like sleeping on the floor, and so they slept in my bed while I was gone. And like, you know, they didn't just sleep, if you know what I mean. And I was appalled. Like, I was so taken aback because previously Ashley told me and Sydney like it was just like a situationship. Like they weren't exclusive, they weren't gonna be boyfriend and girlfriend, they were just like fooling around. Well, after that weekend I went on my family trip, I realized that yeah, they were together and sleeping in my bed. So that was probably like our real turning point, me and Ashley, like where we kind of just were not close at all anymore. And so, meanwhile, in the process of all this, we were still going to these parties, like with the party group. And for a while, George and his new girlfriend like weren't popping up. And finally, they started coming again, and they announced that his new girlfriend was pregnant. And the way my jaw dropped when I found out she was pregnant, like, and this was literally like within months of him and Ashley breaking up. So it was like super crazy. And everybody in the party group kind of really didn't know what to do. Like, they didn't know whether to, like, I don't know, it was just really weird. Like, they didn't know how to feel. And, like, there was already weird, like, alliances. Like, some of the party people were more, like, aligned with George, and some of them were more aligned with, like, me. Because it was, like, really, like, the big drama of the party group was, like, this fight we all had. Because he put it in the group chat for everybody to see. So, first of all, like, George and his girlfriend were showing up to parties, like, while she's pregnant. Like, she wasn't drinking, but, like, that was also pretty weird. And we had a Halloween party, and it was really bizarre. He had dressed up as a hunter, and she dressed up like a female deer with blood all over her, and, like, had a, like, sticker over her stomach saying, like, oh dear, like, saying she's pregnant. And we're like we all just had no idea what to even say. So yeah, that was just really crazy. So I'm trying to, like, I don't even know. So I'm trying to think of, like, how to wrap this up. So, because there's just so many things about this story. We'll touch back on, like, me and Kylie for a minute, the high school friend. So we actually didn't speak for, like, a whole, like, 6 to 8 months. Because George had told me that she said I, like, meddled in people's relationships, that I was, like, this lying snake of a human being, and that I was just this terrible person. And so, like, I, looking back at it, shouldn't have believed him, but I did. And on the other hand, he was telling Kylie that I was saying horrible things about her, which was not true at all. He told, and, like, I'm not gonna really, like, put it out there, I guess, but, like, he told her, like, terrible things that I said about her, about, like, her hygiene, and, like, just really private things that, like, I would never say about someone. And, like, I don't even know why he would say that I said that stuff to her. St. Patrick's Day party, like, towards the end of all of this, she was, like, Kylie was there, and, like, we hadn't spoke for, like, 8 months, and she was, like, drinking, I was drinking, we were both, like, not really in this great state of mind, but she came up to me and was like, so I hear all the things that you've been saying about me, and I was just, like, taken aback, like, what? I haven't said anything about you, like, if anything, you're the one that said, like, I was a lying snake, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I never said that stuff. And so then we quickly, like, looked towards George and knew that, like, he had pinned us against each other. And George, like, full-blown hated me at this point. Like, he was so mad because he still thought that I broke him and Ashley up. And, like, that was just not the case at all. Like, me and Ashley were besties, not anything else. And so it was just super crazy. And so me and Kylie became friends again. Me and Sydney were, like, so over all that house drama happening. So we decided to just, like, move out of that townhouse, get away from it all completely. So, like, the day that I was moving out, Kyle was still living there, and we had this big blown argument about, like, he's like, you should thank me for, like, being so hard on you, like, you'll see in the future, like, that I helped you out, like, I was a figure that you needed, like, you needed someone to be really hard on you, and, like, all this other stuff, and, like, he was telling me, like, all I am to this world is, like, a McDonald's worker, and, like, look-y, there ain't nothing bad about being a McDonald's worker, but, like, still, like, dude. And so yeah, I just moved on away from it all. The partying kind of quit because a lot of people graduated. So, present day, I will give you a mini update on where everybody's at after all of that. So, Ashley and Kyle dated a whole nother, like, year after that. They ended up breaking up and, like, moving out from being with each other, like, because Mr. Kyle had all that big talk about, like, being a person in this world, all that. He dropped out of college, dropped out of the military, just, like, became a, like, person, he just stayed home all day and played video games, like, and she was still, like, Ashley was still in college doing her thing, and, like, it just all broke down. It was bad. And so that was how they pretty much ended up. Me and Sydney are still, like, besties. We talk on the phone all the time. We FaceTime, hang out, like, we're both moved on from it all. Like, we still look back and laugh at that all. I'm still close with some of the party people, but, like, we don't really talk that often. Some of them, like, not at all. Me and Kylie are still close. The girl from high school, like, we had that little hiccup, but, like, we're still going strong. We still FaceTime all the time. Like, I actually just FaceTimed her this morning. We were talking. And, like, with George and his new little boo thing, she had her baby. She's now, I think she just had her second baby with him. They are married, I believe, and are living in a house. They both dropped out of college and are just, I don't even know what else they're doing because we kind of just all cut them off. But yeah, that is part of my really crazy college, not so college experience. And I have lots of other crazy stories as well, but I will save that for another video because we are already at a half hour. I cannot believe I just talked about this for a whole 30 minutes. But I hope everybody has an amazing rest of their day today. I want to thank everybody that's been liking and commenting and supporting the channel. I try to do my best to engage with everybody, and I think we're doing a really good job. So, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel, put down any video requests in the comments, and I'll probably post one more video this week, but then I'm going on vacation, so I hope to give you guys some beachy ASMR while I'm on the beach and in the swimming pool and whatnot. So we will see what kind of videos we come